שלום רב וברוכים הבאים לפסטיבל הקולנוע הרומני בישראל, מהדורת 2023. נמצא איתי כאן היום הבימאי אוקטב צ'לארו, יליד תיאטרון ניאמץ, הוא תסריטאי ובימאי, והוא מציג במהדורה שלנו את סרטו מוסר גבוה, או כפי שידוע בשמו המקורי, �ερ𝐼𝐫𝐢. עד כה הוא כתב וביים 5 סרטים קצרים, זה הסרט העלילתי הראשון באורח מלא שלו, ויש סיפור מעניין בכלל מאחורי הקלעים על איך הסרט הזה הפך להיות סרט. אנחנו נשוחח עם האורח שלנו בשפה האנגלית. Good morning, Octav. How are you?
I'm very fine, thank you. Happy to be here.
I'm happy you're here as well. So let us begin with the story itself. The story of 𝐴 is actually based on a true event that happened in Romania. How did you come across this event, and what made you decide that it will be your next movie or your first feature, shall we say?
Yes, I was looking for a topic for my debut film, and I knew the pressure of debuting in film. People will start to look at you with that film in mind, right? So the debut film is like your identity card. So I was looking through my own biography, and I was reading all the news, and then I came across this story that happened actually in near my hometown of Piatra Neamț, and it was about this teacher who fell in love with a pupil of hers, and the story ended tragically, and that was the root of the story. But when I read that, I was intrigued by the fact that the society became very quickly polarized. So a part of the society was supporting her, saying that she's the priest's wife, and everything that happens to her is like a conspiracy or people trying to attack the church and so on and so forth. Whereas the other side supported the kid, saying that he was abused, or he was lured into this type of relationship, being a minor and all that. So I was very keen of making a film based on a story that's polarizing opinions, that runs like a river, you know, between the society and splits it in half. So that was the thing that triggered me to do this story. And also it has many similarities with my own life, with my own biography. I had, when I was in high school, I had a big connection with the church, and I visited the monasteries. For those of you who don't know, the northeastern part of Romania, it's like a holy place. You can see monasteries, churches, saints. It's full of this stuff. And yeah, I lived in a religious place. Whenever something bad happens in my family or in my city, people blame it on religion. Somehow somebody did something wrong. So it is this mentality of living based on some set rules, or some I wouldn't say archaic, but you know, maybe old beliefs that new generation doesn't understand, and tries to always challenge them. So that's how it started.
I understand now. In English, as well as we translated it in Hebrew, it's 𝐼𝐫𝐫𝑢𝑟. But initially you called the movie in Romanian 𝐴, which is kind of a monster or something like that. Can you explain? It's the monster inside of us. What did you mean by that?
Yeah, so the title, I wanted to have a title that is that sounds in a special way, that is purely Romanian, right? So people would identify immediately the film with the title. So the word means basically multiple things. It means the main antagonist in Romanian fairy tales, the monster with 7 heads that traps the hero and so on. It also means the enemy of Saint George in the church story, with Saint George beheading the dragon, which is the 𝐴 in Romanian. But it also could mean like something similar to what you said. It's that voice inside of us like in cartoons when you have an angel on one and the devil on the other one. That could be the 𝐵𝑎𝑙𝑎𝑢𝑟, the voice that whispers you to try things that you normally wouldn't. So that's how
as I thought. Now,
exactly, yeah.
From the point that you found this story interesting, you read about it till it became a feature film in the cinema. There was a very interesting process. You were a part of different cinema hubs, and you got support from different places. Can you tell us a bit about the process, because it's very interesting?
Yeah, so doing films making films in Europe, especially Eastern Europe, is a special job in itself. So I wouldn't normally say that, but I think for an American filmmaker, if he or she would have to debut the film in Eastern Europe, it would be probably impossible because the money is short. So you have to have support. And I was lucky to find immediate support from the producer of the film, from Radu Stancu, who was with me from day one of the journey. So it normally goes like this. You have to secure funding in your own country, which is a big issue in itself because the Cultural Act in Romania is like number 20 on the government priorities list. And after you secure that, you have to convince people, partners from other countries, to trust the project and to promote it to their funds, to their and in order to do that, you have to travel a lot and to be convincing. And we're living in a time where everybody's making films. The process has been democratized since the appearance of the iPhone and all these tools that make everybody with a laptop being able to do a watchable film. If you have a good story, we can shoot it with a few €100 and people can watch it, right? So that's weird. So I was lucky to be selected to be part of a lot of programs. One of them was the Midpoint program, which is organized by the Czech Film Fund and Film School. Then I went to the Less is More, a French program based in Brest, where film professionals, filmmakers, screenwriters help you understand your story better. Then I went to Sarajevo, film program.
Quite a journey.
Yes, to Los Angeles, to the Greek Film Festival in Los Angeles, where we presented the project, to Transylvania, to Cluj, our own film program. All in all, we have traveled in like 14 cities before starting to shoot anything. So this was just part of the writing process and on the development process to gaining support and collaborators. In the end, the film was a co-production between Romania, Germany, and Serbia, with support from the media program of the European Union and the Romanian television. So we could convince quite a lot of people. And I think it was due to our energy and to our will to make this film. But there also was, and this was a big lesson for me, there was a thing in the story that clicked with everybody. So when you read the 20 pages, in a newspaper, you have 1 hour to do that, right? But when you have to convince somebody, you have to have them in 20 seconds. It's like the elevator pitch, right? When the elevator gets down, you have to already have convinced them. So our story was like a kid falls in love with priest's wife and then confesses to the priest. So this immediate yeah. So this immediate triangle, clicked with a lot of people, and this was opened a lot of doors for us.
Okay, it's always about the story at the end of the day. It begins and it ends there. Now, do you feel that the movie got its first, push from the audience at TIFF, Transylvania International Film Festival? Because I remember that back then it was sold out. And it's amazing for a creator to know that his film is sold out. And should we say to our viewers here that sold out at TIFF Festival means usually for a few thousands of tickets. So it's amazing. Did it get its first push there? And then how do you feel about it?
Yes, it was our first big leap with this film after we have shot it. And I want to thank again and again the TIFF team, Mihai Kirillov and Tudor Giurgiu, for making me a part of the competition. It was sold out. I was very nervous where I was walking towards the cinema. It was a Tuesday evening. It was 10 p.m. And I said, "Oh, who will come to see?"
And it was full house. I remember because I was there.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
there was this gentleman with a sign around his neck saying, "I will buy tickets to the film 𝐴 𝐻𝑖𝐷 for whoever has one." So yeah, it was great.
Okay, and afterwards, I understand that the film started to show throughout Romania at the Cinema City, which has cinemas in different malls, but of course it helps. How did the audience receive the movie there, which is kind of to be true with movies and in the cinema?
Well, it's a out-of-body experience to see your art house film next to Tom Cruise face and Brad Pitt. So people, you'll put yourself in the spectator's shoes, who goes out with his girlfriend and say, "What should we watch? Should we watch the Tom Cruise movie or should we watch this Romanian thriller that we don't know anything about?" So it was interesting. I was there for a few projections. And we made quite well, I would say, for a debut film. The advantage was that next to TIFF, to the actual screenings in Cluj, which were two of them, TIFF has a hub of festivals and events throughout the end of the summer and the start of the autumn, right? So we took advantage of that and we created a Romanian tour in the Timișoara, 𝐼𝐵𝐢𝐫, Oradea, Sibiu, Constanța, Iași. Some of the events, most of them were supported by TIFF. So everywhere we went, we had almost sold out places. And people who weren't able to come because of scheduling issues, they knew about the film, right? So when it came out a month later in the malls, they went to see it, even though they don't normally go to Romanian movies in the malls. So we were lucky, and I thank TIFF for that. And I also thank my producing team, who created one of the most important and memorable nights in my life, because they managed to rent the Romanian Athenaeum, so the biggest and most wonderful building in Romania, where we had the gala premiere there. So
wow,
it
so
was
exciting.
great.
So exciting. I can imagine how exciting it was. Now, you said that you had a certain lesson when you understood that the subject, something that appeals to many people, is a good choice for a movie. But in general, when you seek for subjects, for issues, for your movies, what do you look for? Do you already have a certain set of mind that you know some things you are looking for that interest you personally?
I'm looking for emotion, so I try to find emotion in the most unusual places, and because cinema is a powerful tool. We have other ways of telling stories as well. We have novels, we have theater, we have journalism, documentaries. But cinema, and I'm speaking about fiction film, cinema allows you to see what you might not able to see in other, because if you read a book about the wife of the priest, right, you can imagine certain things, you can portray her in some way. But if you actually see it on a screen, then the truth somehow is already in front of you, and you are not a creator of truth anymore, you are analyzer of truth. So it's like watching peeping through the keyhole, right, and see how life is inside of the priest family, or how are the religion studies classes, which I think we are the last country on earth to do them. So it's it's all this stuff that cinema allows you to do, and I'm looking for stories that basically couldn't have been told in some other medium, right? So this is one thing I'm looking for. Because if you look at the story and say, oh, this could be a great article in a newspaper, this could be a great novel, then okay, maybe it's not a film, maybe it's a novel. You see all these examples of great books, like really great books, and then you see them turn into a film and you say, oh, I like the novel better because it was a novel, a story for a novel.
Yeah. Can you give us an example for another movie you made? I know short movies, but that emphasizes this very point you just made?
Yeah, so I made right before the feature film, I wanted to explore some of the team members, right? Because a feature film is an adventure that you go on for a year or something. You have to collaborate with people. And I changed, I shot my first 4 films with the same director of photography, the same camera guy. And I wanted to change him for the feature film. But before that, I said, oh, let's try to make a short first to see how we get along and how we see that. And I made this short film about corruption in Romania, about this politician who tries to control some things, but unfortunately his computer gets hacked and some compromising photos start to be almost on the verge of being leaked to the press. And he tries to convince this young computer guy to help him, right? And it's a clash of 2 generations. The old people who have power in Romania, but they are completely, they don't know how to use computers, basically. And the younger people who are very keen on technology, but they have no power. So this type of story was... because we can all imagine corruption. When we say corruption, we imagine this face or that face from our own.
We don't have to imagine a lot. We have full of it here and all over.
Yeah. But in order to, so I made this film, and immediately when you see the face of the guy in the picture, you can really read them and understand the story. So it was another thing that happened to me. Actually, this is based on a true story. And it had the same starting point, having a story that is better told in cinema rather than other medium.
Than other media, yes. It's very interesting. Can you share with us some thoughts or news about your next project?
I always thought that the first film would be the hardest, but apparently the second one is even more hard. It's even harder because you have to do something else, but in the same time not very different from what you did, so people can really put a finger on your trajectory, right? So I'm working on multiple projects. For one of them I am just a screenwriter. It's a comedy film. Yesterday I just got some wonderful news that my 2 next short films will be funded by the Romanian Film Fund, and I could talk about that because those are sure to happen.
Okay.
So one of them is based on a big thing that we have in Romania since like 4 or 5 years ago. Everywhere you go in the big cities, not only big cities, also small cities, there are slot machines, and this bet thing has gone out of control. There are actually on my street in Bucharest, there are like 8 one after the other, right? So something bet something. So every poor guy or every person who thinks he's lucky goes in there and gets out with no money. So there's a lot of tragedy happening, right? So my next story is based on a true story that happened in Romania with a father that gets obsessed with these slot machines, and he loses the family, loses everything, but he has a chance of redemption by trying to contact his daughter, dressing up as Santa Claus. So this is my next film about this.
I think we're looking forward to see this film.
Yeah.
Okay. Octav, is there something else you want to tell us about 𝐵𝑎𝑙𝑎𝑢𝑟, higher law movie, that it's important for you, for our audience, to know or to emphasize concerning the fact that it projects some phenomena that still exist in Romania, like this religion lessons? You think it's the last place on earth, who knows, but it might be, or something else that we should go with this knowledge in head when we go to see the movies.
What I can guarantee you and the audience is that if you give it 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes, like a carte blanche, then you will get rewarded by the film, because it's full of emotion and unfulfilled love. And I'm sure, especially for the female audience, that it really communicates the feelings. So I wouldn't say much more and spoil the thing for you guys, but I think it's a good transaction. So if you give it 15-20 minutes, then you will get paid back by a quite entertaining film.
What I would like to say is that you mentioned the fact that once we read, for instance, if it was a book and you read about the preacher's wife, you would imagine her in a certain way. When the movie begins and you see this woman, let's say it's not what you had in mind when you think about the preacher's wife, through the sport she does and so on. So I agree with you. It's very interesting to do it your own way and to give it your own thinking of how a woman like this nowadays looks like, what she does, and then the story itself, the drama in the movie. This is what happens. But it's always interesting to think outside the box and
Yes.
show something that we might not think about it just this way. Octav, thank you very much. I'm looking forward for your next movies, and I promise to bring some of them to our next editions of Romanian Film Festival in Israel. And I urge you, the audience, I will, with your permission, do it in Hebrew. אני מאחלת לכם צפייה מושכלת ומהנה בסרט מוסר גבוה, שיוצג בסינמטקים השונים ברחבי הארץ. אני מזמינה אתכם להיכנס לדף הפייסבוק שלנו, פסטיבל הקולנוע הרומני בישראל 2023. הפסטיבל נעשה בשיתוף עם מכון התרבות הרומני תל אביב, ואנחנו מחכים לראות אתכם באולמות, ומאחלים לכם באמת ימים נפלאים בפסטיבל שלנו. תודה רבה לכם. Thank you very much, Octav.
Thank you.